Okay, we are back, and unfortunately, we were not able to fix the issue, but we're here for the race. Uh, Paige will still be in the commentary box with me, but you will not be able to hear her. She'll just be calling out background information as DZ Racer took pole position there with by 4.5 tenths, I believe. Takes pole position, followed by Skeefy, then Craig, then Hayes, then Dubsy, then MB, then S&Z, Liam, Arrow, Ollie Bean, James, Godzilla, D Summers, Lanky, Raheem, Andrew, and Alfie. Very good qualifying session from all of them, as I feel like we're going to have a pretty mixed strategy here, as most drivers will want to go for the one stop here. They'll want to go the medium to hard lap 13, with it being 29 laps around this circuit. It's going to be a very difficult one, but it is about 7 to 10 seconds quicker through here, so that is definitely what they're going to want to do. DZ Racer, let's see if he can get his second win and second podium of this season in Tier 2. He absolutely smashed out pole, most notably last season in Imola Tier 2, which he, I believe, went on to win the race, but it definitely had some challenges. It was not easy. As Jamaican Jan, which was last season's Tier 2 winner, was not is not racing as we jump. It's a 5 lights go out and they get their foots to the floor. As we see, there's already some position changes as Hayes gets Craig off the line. Consider gets a horrific start, drops down along with Craig, dropping even more positions as there seems to be some carnage further down the field. S&Z gaining more positions on Craig. Craig gains that one position back as there's Raheem dropping some positions. Dubsy jumps MB. They're going wheel to wheel here, having a very good battle as MB manages to inch out just in front. S&Z further behind, battling with Craig even more, as Ollie Bean unfortunately drops all the way down to P10, losing more positions as they're battling even more. Craig is now down to P9. That is not the start that he wanted to have here. Who I thought may be on for the win here is so far definitely not on it, as DZ Racer has managed to take the carnage throughout the field and edge out a full second gap already. So we're going to get up all of their tyres here, so we can keep an eye on what everyone is doing. As James and Lanky battling out further down the field. We now come through sector 3. All of these corners are going to be flat out. We're running right on each other's gearboxes in this dirty area. It's going to be very difficult to stay that close to the cars in front, as it seems like Hayes is going to want to try and get in front of Skeefy here, as she's going to get a tow from Skeefy, with DC Racer a full second and a half in front, as Alfie gets in front of Craig Donnelly further down the field. Hayes round the outside. Will she get the superior grip round the outside, or will Skeefy be able to go up the inside? No, Hayes just completely clears him by the time that they hit the apex there, as Ollie Bean and Arrow battling further down the field now. Let's go wheel to wheel. Ollie Bean is rolled up on his gearbox. He's going to want to have a look up the inside, going into turn 4 here, but he is playing it safe and pulls out last minute. He's going to say close through turn 5 and 6. The next overtaking opportunity will probably be about turn 10, if not turn 1. So he's going to want to stay close and focus on that, as it seems like, yeah, Cod and Raheem, heavy battling. Very heavy battling here, as Cod is... Lanky is now all up on Raheem's gearbox, but Raheem has managed to pull away a little bit. Lanky is getting rear-ended ever so slightly by D Summers. A lot of battles up here as further up the field. MB is also really close to Skeefy, which is a little timing thing that we're going to want to keep an eye on to see how much they're battling there. And further down, as Paige just pointed out to me, Craig, Cod both have very big gaps there, as Hayes has managed to absolutely fly on that lap. As Lanky comes into the pits, Hayes catches all the way up to DC Racer, closes that 1.5 second gap to S&Z, and Arrow battling further down the field, but S&Z manages to pull out just ahead of Arrow, so it's separated by only a tenth and a half now. DZ Racer is going to want to keep an eye on of Hayes right behind them, down into this braking zone. Hayes is not going to be close enough to really make a move, but they're going to want to be careful. DZ Racer is harvesting that battery to be able to burn through, set the 3 and down the main straight. Further down the field, Dub Z gets overtaken by Liam, and Arrow is very close behind. We're going to want to keep on having a look as S&Z has managed to drop some more positions again. Very unfortunate for him, as Hayes is still within 4 attempts of DZ Racer up ahead, as Alfie Nerf Boy gets in front of Ollie Bean. Is he going to let him keep on having that, or is Ollie Bean going to fight back a little bit further? The most important thing here is I do not think it will even necessarily be on-track overtakes. It might honestly just be track limits penalties, because it's so easy to run wide here, as Ollie Bean has just done in the background there, and S&Z picks up our first 3-second penalty of this evening. It's going to be very crucial by the end. Track position isn't even necessarily the most important thing here, as we're going to want to go up. Hayes sending it up the inside of DZ Racer through turn 1. Who will have superior grip? DZ Racer up the inside through turn 2 now, or Hayes round the outside? Hayes has lost that position again, back down to P2 where she started this battle from, but still she's staying with him, showing much superior race pace at this point in the evening. She's on the mediums. The hards should be coming up to temperature around about now, and the mediums will start to really cook by about lap 7. So if DZ Racer can, even if he gets overtaken, just hang with Hayes until that sort of time, then he should be able to pull ahead a little bit more, take it long, and possibly get an overcut. As this Liam is very much battling with the Scuderia of Dub Z here. Very good showing from both these drivers. Swap positions an awful lot. As we also have S&Z and Ollie Bean staying very close together further down the field. As we come into the next lap in just a moment, we'll want to keep an extra eye on P1 and P2, as Hayes is going to want to have another go into turn 1, I reckon. As Arrow overtakes Dub Z through turn 15 there, as DZ Racer tries to take the inside of the track to cut this toe, but Hayes wants all of it. Hayes will probably struggle with tyre wear here, as I believe they're on pad, which is going to really cook their tyres. DZ Racer generally does, I've noticed DZ Racer generally takes a 2-stop over a 1-stop when it's possible, so I'm not sure how this is going to affect them and what sort of lap they're going to box. Seems like generally everyone's keeping it pretty clean apart from S&Z and Ollie Bean, which I saw run wide at one point. So we have all these cars all within about half a second of each other. Still very close battles considering we're on lap 5 here. As there's yellow flags out further down the field. What's that for? That's Arrow has unfortunately spun. That's absolutely heartbreak considering this is probably his best track alongside Spa. Very unfortunate for him, but he's still got a long. He's still with it, but he's still with the pack. He still has a lot of time to catch up and make overtakes here. Safety cars can still change this race an awful lot. Lanky is the only driver to have boxed earlier on in the race. I believe that might have been to do with damage. We'll actually have a quick look. Yeah, that was for a front wing there. 7.4 seconds they stopped. Yeah, James picks up the second 3-second penalty of this evening. As Hayes will probably want to be having another look. Just staying with DZ Racer, but they cannot get them with this lap, so they're going to have to wait a whole 5.5 kilometres until the next lap to make their next move. As Skeefy still within half a second of the car in front, with Liam even closer to them behind. As Alfie is just about dropping out of, really struggling to stay within the DRS of Dub Z in the Ferrari here. Very close battles all round. We're right on board with Liam. Actually, no, we're going to drop down to Ollie Bean, which is very riding insanely close. And if action does happen, then we should be able to see a little bit. Skeefy pushing MB's rear box, pushing MB's gearbox more and more throughout these laps here. That's the front row has breaked off. They were temporary Red Bull teammates in Silverstone, taking a double podium. No, Hayes was on the podium in that race through some post-race controversy with penalties. But will she be able to get on the podium one more time this season as Godzilla picks up another penalty for all the drivers this evening? As MB is going to want to try and burn all that battery away to try and hold off Skeefy behind, as Arrow is starting to build up through the field again, overtakes D Summers. Hayes closes half a second to DC Racer, but does not get close enough to make a move into turn 1. Lukey Boy, DZ Racer is winning, currently leading with Hayes for up behind, MB in 3rd, Skeefy in 5th, and Liam in 5th, Dubsy in 6th. Oh, who's winning? I thought who I think will win? Probably DZ. If they can keep it clean throughout this race, but Hayes is definitely a very close contender. I could see who is currently sitting on the podium being the podium, considering it is 2 of them are in the top 5 of the championship right now. And Hayes probably would be if they raced every race. So they're only really close battles throughout the field now. As Lanky picks up the time penalty, it's not really what they want, considering they're just not trying to catch up. I mean, yeah, D Summers is really sticking with Arrow here, as Hayes is sitting in that slipstream, trying to close up as much as they can off that 8 temps there. D Summers also trying to stay with Arrow here, as he tries to take advantage of them cutting up through the field. As Dubsy in the Ferrari wants to try and make some moves on the Williams up ahead of Liam. As I covered 3 sets of 1 now on the run to turn 4 into the double apex, turn 4 and 5. He's going to want to recharge his battery as he's doing there through the braking zone off turn 6, burn it up to turn 7. Want to stay as close as possible. As Hayes has managed to stay with DC Racer throughout this lap, holding on to those tyres as best she can to try and make this overtake. But DC Racer's tyres are really going to start taking advantage. Yeah, Dubsy really on that gearbox now. He really wants to make this move happen, as he seems Decent is picking up a time penalty. Dub seems to have about 20% more battery than Liam, but Liam is also recharging to be able to burn it all down the straight. Seems like DZ Racer has managed to fork out another 4 attempts on Hayes to defend that position, as Dub is right on Liam's gearbox, going down the straight, has all his battery to burn, but so is Liam here. It's going to be about equal. It's really going to come down to the driver skill through turn 1. I've got to be honest, I do want Liam to win this battle, considering he is a Williams driver. As Liam takes the inside there and manages to swing it through. Does get the inside line through turn 3 now. Yes, he does. He manages to come out in front. And they're staying wheel to wheel on the run to turn 4. As Liam now comes out in front. And SNZ and Ollie, they came very close on track there. SNZ still battling extremely close just ahead. All these drivers are not giving each other any breathing space here. Dubsy still only within less than half a second to Liam in the Williams. Craig Connolly only 4 attempts away from his teammate SNZ, which is looking like he's about to go for an overtake on Alfie Boy here. We've got to watch this battle, I reckon, as it could be 3-way 1 as Raheem picks up a 3-second penalty. And if any of them go wide, then Ollie Bean could very easily slip through. He just sat there trying to defend from James behind. But he could very easily come up as the first driver makes their first proper pit stop on lap 10, coming off the medium compound with Ollie Bean and Alfie coming off their mediums very early, I'd say. because they're not going to be able to go, what, 20 laps on hards. It's going to be practically impossible. So they will likely have to do a 2-stop here. But I remember Alfie did this in Tier 3 earlier on in the season. He did a 2-stop. And it seemed to work out okay for him. He missed out on the podium, but considering he did the 2-stop, he made it work as best as he could. So, Dubsy manages to get past Liam up the field to take that P5 position. Liam is currently sitting in the bottom 5 of the championship, so this, even a top 7 here, would be absolutely crucial for his championship hopes to be able to climb back up to the midfield again. As he recently signed to Williams, he's going to want to show me that he deserves that seat. Dubsy's absolutely flying now that he got past him. Now managed to gap out 8 tenths there. So he's starting to catch Skeefy in front. Hayes still just stuck just within a second of DZ Racer, just holding out as long as they can until they have to box here. We're going to see, does anyone else come into the box? No, it doesn't seem like it. We're at that point now where no one can really come in. Skeefy all up on MB's gearbox here. So we're riding on board, but they might make some contact if they start pushing a little bit too hard. We also have D Summers within half a second of the Williams down in P11. And Dubs still within a second of Skeefy behind, trying to catch up. Definitely will be trying to pick off Skeefy in this battle. As MB was charging through turn 10, the run down through the final sector. No, through turn 7, my mistake. They can start to use their battery a bit more in the final sector here. So they're heavy on the brakes, bring it through this corner, nice and tidy. Make sure you get a good exit. These aren't good overtaking opportunities, but it's a good opportunity to stay tight so that you can get a good run out of turn 16 to start the new lap as James gets a penalty there. Oh, DZ Racer got a 3-second penalty. That's actually crucial that us lost them and net P1 now. If it stays as is, they're going to lose their win. As Hayes comes into the box, boxing off the mediums here. Lots of drivers swapping positions as we're actually going to do a gap to leader to see everyone's pit time. We're just going to let everyone pit and see where everyone comes out. So yellow flags off for a Haas of Skeefy. Running in the top 5. Now off in the gravel, turn 3. Yeah, very unfortunate, off in turn 3. I'm not sure if that one's from contact or not, because it seems like a very odd place to crash on your own. Unless it's maybe a loss of rear traction. But currently, DZ Racer would come out in front of Skeefy and in front of Hayes. So they would still have their P1 on track, so they'll need to gap out these extra 3 seconds on this stint. Take these tyres about lap 16 to make the one-stop work, because they've gone wide again, I reckon, picking up another track limits warning. As we'll see, are there any drivers within overtaking reach Godzilla on his slightly older tyres, so they will be warmer, close to Liam down the field. Is Liam going to have trouble fighting off these warmer hard tyres here? But he will gain that advantage back in the final few laps of the race. As the Sauber of MB is now in the box. 12 laps on those mediums. I would have stayed out for one more lap to really get the full use out of them. But where will he come down to? He'll probably drop down. Oh, yeah, Skeefy is out of this race. That's not what Haas won in. Currently leading the OTC by about 50 points, so they could probably spare a driver. But still not what they want. As it seems like COD has just managed to use those warmer tyres, and Liam is getting absolutely smoked down the straight with the Direts. Unfortunately losing 2 positions from James and Godzilla. As we also have S and Z further up the field, closing ever so more tightly onto Arrow. I mean, on those hard tyres, he's really going to get this tyre advantage now, as Arrow seems to be executing this one stop perfectly, other than that spin. Yeah, and the Williams in P7 on the original mediums as well, stretching them out as far as they can. This is going to really come back to help them later on in the race. We're going to see whereabouts with DZ Racer come out. DZ Racer would still come out in front of Hayes. I don't believe they've currently been undercut, but it's going to be pretty close. They're going to want to come in pretty soon to not get undercut here. As the Williams comes into the box, as Arrow stays out for one more lap, really extending these tyres as much as he possibly can. Where would the Williams come out of the pit lane? They'll seem to have come out just behind Ollie Bean here. Let's see just how bad are some of these penalties. That is pretty bad penalties, to be fair, from some of these drivers. Currently, Hayes holding the fastest lap as well. Godzilla still staying on James, with Liam up behind, not wanting to lose that, wanting to regain that position that he lost down the DRS straight. As we also have S and Z still on Arrow's gearbox. Arrow is yet to box, so will he be able to keep those tyres nice and tidy for this final lap? I believe they should be coming in now. Yes, Arrow's coming into the pits, I believe. That is very much expected. As Ollie Bean picks up another 3-second penalty. No, Ollie Bean picks up his first 3-second penalty. I'm used to him getting so many. I was surprised that was his first one. These armors boxing off the hard tyres as well. Are those his original hard tyres? Yeah, those are his original hard tyres. Yeah, this is roughly where you want to come off the original set of hards. Now to lap 17 is probably your optimal pit window. Nuki saying MB should be winning. He probably could be. He was on the podium. He's like a net P3 right now. Yellow flags for a Red Bull of Arrow. Yeah, Arrow spun on those cold hards. Not what he's wanting here. Those cold hards are absolutely impossible to drive on. Not what he wanted, not another spin. Still in front of Andrew and Lanky though, so it's something. It's still in the points. Well, that's 3 points that will gain out of this. So we're waiting for the top 4 hard runners to box, and as I say, that Dub Z comes into the pit lane off those hard compounds along with SNZ. SNZ 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. The Papaya will not want those 10 seconds, as everyone is running still quite closely, considering how far into the race we are, that any sort of time penalty would be absolutely crucial. Everyone is running insanely good right now. Everyone keeping their tyres very clean. As we have Liam still within 5 tenths of the car in front. Just going to sit, following him, seeing if he can gain his position on James, as Alfie picks up a 3-second penalty here. DZ Racer and Craig, the only 2 drivers yet to box off of those tyres, off those original tyres here. Which you want to take these probably to about this lap, as Liam has a snap of the rear. Let's not spin. Don't scare me like that, please. Decent racers came into the box here. Hopefully he can get a quick pit stop. That looked pretty fluent on that white Red Bull. Whereabouts are they going to come out? Are they going to keep their net P1 in front of Hayes? No. Hayes managed to get those tyres up to temperature, but that's really going to come to bite them later on in the race. Hayes is. So DC Racer's not only going to have to overtake Hayes, but also gap them by quite a few seconds to negate that penalty. So that could really change this race a lot. You're going to see just how many positions has everyone gained and lost. Just a little. Alfie picked up another time penalty there. Alfie Nerfboy currently is the highest gained positions out of this entire race. So very well done to them. Yeah, as those penalties are really going to come back to bite him later on in the race. So we're going to go back to a dub C right on Alfie's gearbox here. That is a very close battle that we're seeing. As Dub is going to want to try and, on the DRS straight, just get the slipstream, get the DRS, is going to get those extra 17 kilometers per hour and burn that battery. Seems to have way more battery than Alfie, so he can really afford to burn this. Is he going to be able to send it up the inside through turn 1? I actually believe round the outside seems to be the better choice for overtaking through turn 1 here, as that is the one that he's going to take to try and have the inside line. He's going to go for a switchback here. No, he's not close enough to try and go for that. He's going to go stick a wheel up round the outside through to turn 2. Well, he cannot make anything work. Is he going to be able to try and stay with him to make him move into turn 4? I do not believe he's close enough. Ooh. And Codzilla spun turn 1 down the field. That's not what they want for the Alpine driver this evening, as they very nearly got killed by Andrew. Come back onto the track. As Arrow gains a position on Raheem up the field, regaining compromising for those spins a little bit. As Alfie battling so hard with Dub here. Dub managed to get past here. Alfie's recharging. Is he going to try and make a move going through sector 3, or is he going to stay? Is he going to wait about 2 kilometers here and wait until the next lap? It seems like they're probably going to wait until the next lap, as they're not going to make a move through sector 3. And Craig came off those tyres. He took those tyres 18 laps, the furthest of any driver, as Alfie picks up another time penalty. So these overtakes aren't even that relevant for Alfie. He's going to lose it all anyway. As whereabouts will Craig come out? We're going to see just how much of these penalties actually going to hurt them. Alfie with 9 seconds here. S&Z with 19. And then most drivers with 6 or 3. And currently Alfie's going to drop down to about P11 with those penalties-ish, give or take, because the other drivers have penalties. Probably about P9, I'd say. As Godzilla has retired in the pit lane. Obviously after that spin they just did not want to carry on, which can't really blame them. So we're going to go back to the interval timing to see just how close to some of these battles are out the field, as we still have Craig staying within a second of the car in front here, as Liam is also within half a second of them, so this could turn into a little bit of a train here. If these ones can catch up, then it will really be a train down to P11 of Ollie Bean. Gonna see Craig now within 3 attempts. He's gonna be able to make any moves coming over the line. We're coming down to the final corner of turn 16. He's gonna have DRS. James is gonna not really have much defense here. He might be able to burn a little bit of battery, but that will pretty much be useless against the rear wing. As S&Z gets past Alfie. Oh no, Alfie is boxed. Not sure what that is for, considering he only went 10 laps on those hards. They surely can't be dead yet. As Craig has managed to get past. Decent Racer as well crosses the line there with a new fastest lap is absolutely flying up the field to Hayes in P1. And they've just got within a second, so they're going to have DRS coming over the line for the next lap. DZ Racer really flying up now. Those mediums, it's just, is he going to be able to gain enough of a gap to be able to make up for those mediums dying near the end of it as well, and compromise and make up for that time penalty. So Hayes got the time penalty as well. That's really going to just even it out now. Ollie Bean also within a second of his teammate D Summers. Are they going to make a decision to swap them about? As Raheem and Lanky both also picked up a 3-second penalty. Just going to go Liam still within only 3 attempts. DZ Racer unfortunately missed that, but he gained a position for P1 here as they continue to be wheel to wheel through turn 3. He managed just to gap out a nice gap there. Hayes having to box so early, having that tyre wear, it's really starting to hurt them now. It might even probably have to box again. I doubt they're able to make those tyres go right to the end. So this should be an easy win for DZ Racer as long as they can keep it clean. As in the midfield, we still have a lot of very close battles, with Liam being very close to the car in front, Ollie very close to the car in front, and Essence very close to his teammate in front. We're going to most focus on Ollie Bean, which is really going to want to get past D Summers here. Ollie Bean is having to burn a whole lot more than D Summers. I'm not sure if that is an indicator to the pace difference. As also Ollie Bean is on a lot older tyres and might have to box again, but I doubt he'll want to box again. But it's going to be a little bit like what Hayes is doing, where it might not be a choice. As Liam is still very close here. Hayes also down the main straight is still within half a second. So are they going to be able to make a move up into turn 1? It doesn't look like they're going to be close enough, unfortunately. As a lot of people getting time because he's up at the top of the screen there. As James really wanted to defend from the Williams behind him, which is only within 3 attempts. Are they going to try and make an overtake through turn 1? No, they're not, but they're just going to stay with him, really applying that pressure, trying to make him go wide. He could possibly try and fake a move on the inside, but it doesn't look like that is going to happen here. Hayes still sticking with DZ Racer, hoping for him to run wide or something, so she can gain on it before the end of the race. But DZ Racer on those superior compound right now, it seems like he is just going to be able to fly away. Yeah, DZ Racer, he's on the newer and faster compound. It's going to be probably about lap 26 when they're really going to start to hurt, but Hayes is hard to be so cut by then that I don't think it will even matter. He'll mainly just want to watch out. I mean, there's no one it'd only be Craig, and Craig is way too far off. As Arrow picks up a penalty, Craig is way too far off to be able to make any moves up the field now. You have Arrow really close behind the Aston Martin of Ollie Bean here. Ollie Bean no longer has the DRS of his teammate, left absolutely can't do anything down the straight. Arrow's just going to send out the inside. Should be a nice clean overtake for Arrow here. Very quick around this circuit. Taken pole position twice in the last 2 seasons. Well, once this season, once last season. So it absolutely flies around this circuit as Dub Seal set up the field. Is within a second of the kick Sauber of MB, trying to fight for that podium position there. As Liam also has the DRS on the Ferrari of James in front. Arrow is actually a Ferrari driver, but he's just tanking it in the Red Bull today. as Andrew is also within 1 second of Alfie on the much older tyres. I do not believe that will be relevant, but he's going to still want to fight for that extra point. As Lanky has boxed into the soft compound, I believe, just for the fastest lap here. Try and gain something out of nothing, as it doesn't really seem like there's going to be a safety car anytime soon. As Arrow is still just within 4 tenths of D Summers now. He's picked off one Aston Martin next lap. Now he's going for the next. Is he going to get this toe? Is he going to take the inside? Is he going to take the outside? And he goes up the inside here of D Summers. Make sure to send him a little bit wide. Applying that pressure, he just sends out the inside. Absolutely gets much better grip through there. Completely clears him by the time they hit the apex. As he's going to keep on storming out the field. Next in his sights, it's 3 seconds up the road at the Williams of Liam. But Liam is in the chase of his own, trying to catch James in the Scuderia in front. Only 8 tenths in front as they come through turn 6 on the run to turn 7. He just wants to stay close enough, as James will not have the DRS assistance from the car in front of him. But he is getting very close to dropping out that DRS range. If he does, then there's all the hopes of that P7 finish is going to be completely gone. As Lanky is coming over the line, hopefully to try and set the fastest lap. They're going to start the lap here. We're going to maybe ride on board as they cross the line, seeing if they can get it. As Hayes still sticking within a second of DC Racer, but just not enough as Alfie Boy picks up another penalty, unfortunately. Liam not sure if they got DRS here. We're just going to have to see if their rear wing opens. As Ollie Bean now within his teammates' DRS, making sure that he can stay with him and try and make up for those penalties against the Williams behind. Ollie and D Summers further down the field. It seems like they've swapped positions with. Well, they're probably on equal sort of tyre pace right now, considering. Yeah, even though Ollie Bean is on the older tyres, the hard compound is probably about the same as 10-lap-old mediums here. And that probably goes about the same for P1 and P2, where Hayes has closed up about half a second to the Red Bull up the field. As Liam's still just staying within 1 second of James in the Scuderia ahead, but can't quite do any more than that, as D Summers picks up a 3-second time penalty. We're going to ride on board with the race leaders here. As we're going to have a check. No, Craig still holds the fastest lap. Maybe Lanky's going to go one more time to try and beat it. I'm not really sure. As I've just seen for a little bit insider knowledge that Ollie Bean is kind of close to a puncture. And so it seems like about 16 laps is the furthest you can go on those hard compounds. About 13 is the furthest you can go on those mediums. So we're really going to see this final lap. A lot of the medium runners are going to really struggle. And then all the hard runners in the midfield from P7 to P11 are probably going to struggle quite a lot. Most notably Ollie Bean and Liam. Possibly James as well. We're going to try and see. I mean, can we see that some extra data from Hayes here, trying to get a little bit of knowledge on their tyres. I mean, what do their tyres look like? Are they graining noticeably? Not a huge amount, I'd say. Oh, that front left is starting to look a little bit. Yeah, it seems like they pretty much have the same tyres. So we also have Dubsy following up very closely to the car in front. He really wants that podium position here. And Arrow further down the field trying to get James, as he also got Liam just a minute ago, which I must have missed, which has actually dropped Liam out of the DRS range, which is going to be very crucial for them, as Ollie Bean and Liam are pretty similar tyre wear here, so I'm not sure if that's going to end up being an issue. If Arrow is going to be close enough to the Scuderia here to get in front, Is he going to maybe not want to push too hard around him? No, he does not care that he's a Ferrari driver himself. He just wants to get past as he sends out the inside of turn 2 here. So as he come out front, there's still wheel to wheel through here, through turn 3. Who's going to take it? James on the inside, Arrow around the outside, through turn 4, through this double apex. Arrow manages to actually send it around the outside and get much better grip on the left side of the car to get in front on the run to turn 6 here. Hey, he's still within half a second of the Red Bull driver in front. So a lot of these hard runners, Hayes, James, Liam and Ollie Bean, and Andrew, their hards are going to probably really struggle to get to the end of the race here. And I will bring out the penalties. S&Z with the most penalties here, Alfie Nerfboy and Lanky with 12. Hayes is making some moves up the field as Ollie Bean picks up another penalty here. See, Craig also very close to the car in the front. There's some very big battles here. As Ollie Bean get past Liam further down the field. That seemed to be... Oh, yeah. Who has box? Liam has box. Unfortunately, he could not take those tyres that tiny bit longer. Which he was having such a good race, unfortunately, couldn't take it that tiny bit further. I'm going to ride on board of Hayes as she tries to gain this first place position. She wants to get a win here in Qatar. Coming through, Lanky picks up another 3-second penalty. Coming through turn 15 now, through the final turn 16. Within only 6/10 of a second, she's going to have the slipstream. She's going to have the DRS. Will she have more battery? They're very equal in battery. DZ Racer moves to the inside to try and break that toe. We now only have 5.4 kilometers left of this race. As they're coming through turn 1, Hayes still within less than half a second, very close, but will it be close enough? As there are not a lot of overtaking opportunities. The main one is turn 1, but I don't believe they're going to be close enough. As we have Dub Z and Craig down further the field. Very close battles as well in between this Sauber, Ferrari and Papaya, all fighting for this final podium position, as Hayes is still within 0.3 of a second of the Red Bull of DZ Racer. DZ's going to be looking in those wing mirrors, looking over his shoulder at every single corner here as they come through sector 2, through turn 7, flowing through the turn 8 and 9. As Craig is still just on the gearbox of the Scuderia here, which is also very close to the Sauber up ahead. As Liam further down the field might get a final position. Oh, and Craig nearly loses the car completely. As Liam is also going to try and win this. As is that Craig round. Craig loses a position. No, S&Z loses a position to Arrow. As Hayes tried their best to take the win here, but they could not stick it and end up getting 3 seconds at the end. But DZ Racer crosses the line to take their second win of this season in WHF Tier 2. Hayes second. S&Z got a puncher at the end. Hayes in P2 taking another podium. MB P3 taking a second podium this season. Craig P4, Dubsy P5, and we have to wait for the rest. Penalties will really take an effect here. I think Arrow must have got Arrow's got a puncture as well. But the man himself, DZ Racer, managed to get the second win this season, second podium this season. Currently P2 in the championship, but they're going to jump Skeefy and they're going to now be P1 in the championship. I believe their first time leading the Tier 2 championship ever here in WHF, and they're going to quite storm ahead with it by at least 15 points, I believe. as the finishing order is now DZ Racer, Hayes, MB, Craig, Dubsy, James, Arrow, Ollie Bean, Raheem, Andrew, Alfie, Liam, D Summers, SNZ, Lanky, then unfortunately a DNF for Cod and Skeevy, as Lanky is crossing the line now. As DZ Racer will be able to take that top step, knowing that they fought very hard there. It really could have gone any way by the end. Hayes was definitely close that entire race, but just could not get that extra bit of time on them. MB may have not been in contention for P1 or P2 for a lot of that race, but they fought very hard for that P3. That's a well-deserved podium that could have also gone to double Craig. But Craig may not have gotten a podium, but he did manage to pick up the fastest lap there. So that is something. Yeah, Hayes ended up picking up a 3-second penalty by the end, as driver of the day goes to Arrow as well. Going to see the final order here. And this race director is probably going to be a long one. Very long race director. But well done to DC Racer for the win. Hayes and MB for P2 and P3, and Craig for that P4 and fastest lap. But I believe that is... We unfortunately can't do interviews today because my OBS has decided to break. But thank you for watching. Make sure we have Tier 1 tomorrow, Bahrain, 8 PM UK time. We have a close championship battle currently going on. The OCC is getting closer and closer with every race. Got some new drivers, so make sure you come back for that. And goodbye.